90,000 pickups are being dumped for as little as $16,000. This isn't just a market correction, it's a total annihilation of value happening so fast, it's catching everyone. Dealers, banks, and especially the families who own these trucks, completely off guard. We're not talking about damaged vehicles or high mileage beaters. We're talking about 2-year-old King Ranches, Denalis, and Platinums, loaded to the roof with every gadget, now sitting on auction lots with prices that will make your blood run cold. Meet Mike, a contractor from Texas who thought he was being smart by waiting for the inevitable price drop. Last week, he scrolled through an online dealer auction and spotted a 2022 Ford F-250 King Ranch. Original sticker, $89,000. The auction start price, $16,500. Mike couldn't believe it. He ran the VIN, checked the title, and saw the odometer read barely 22,000 miles. A clean truck, a true full luxury pickup that 2 years ago would have caused a bidding war. Mike drove 3 hours to the auction, heart pounding, expecting a mob. But when he got there, the lot was eerily quiet. Rows of unsold trucks stretching as far as he could see, some still with the factory plastic on the seats. He checked the King Ranch twice, waiting for the catch. There was no catch, just a truck nobody wanted to own at any price close to what it cost new. Standing there, Mike felt the thrill of a lifetime deal and a deep, creeping sense of dread. If this could happen to the King Ranch, what else was about to get dumped? The reason we're here is simple, and it's unsettling. The math broke America. Between 2015 and 2023, the average price of a new pickup truck exploded by 60%, jumping to over $61,000. Your paycheck didn't even come close to keeping up, barely growing half as fast. Automakers saw the chance to sell you a status symbol, not a work truck, leaning hard into those high-trim models like King Ranch and Denali. They successfully convinced millions that an $85,000 truck was an investment. As a result, 7-year loans became the standard, and payments that averaged $450 a month ballooned to $900 or more. The American dream of owning a new pickup drifted out of reach for millions, forcing them into debt just to keep up. But this crisis wasn't an accident. It was a carefully planned, high-stakes game that automakers rigged against you. Behind the sticker shock was a secret machine designed to print money for Detroit until the gears locked up. Automakers built a system of hidden incentives and allocation games that forced dealers to overorder the high-margin, expensive trucks. They would secretly dangle extra cash, up to $12,000 per vehicle in under-the-table spiffs, if dealers took more King Ranches, Denalis, and Limiteds. The catch? Dealers had to take delivery of more luxury inventory than they could possibly sell. If they refused, the factory would freeze their allocation for the next model year, shutting them out of the game entirely. One dealer described it as a hostage situation. This was never about serving the hardworking buyer. It was about juicing the numbers quarter after quarter, building a bubble of overpriced metal. That system worked flawlessly until the market ran out of buyers and the trucks became financial landmines. When the factory gears locked up, the panic began, and the first place it hit was a cold, unforgiving auction block. The scene at auction houses like Mannheim, Dallas was the real discovery of what the trucks were actually worth. Word spread fast. Another dealer just dumped 6 King Ranches at a loss so deep the bank called the next morning. Dealers clustered in tight circles, eyes darting from the bidding screens to the endless rows of unsold trucks. The chatter wasn't about finding bargains, it was about survival. Late-model Denalis and Platinums rolled past the block, drawing bids that barely cleared $15,000. Some trucks didn't get a single offer. The air was heavy, like everyone was waiting for the next shoe to drop. One veteran muttered, "This is 2008 all over again, but worse." For the first time, dealers realized there was no bottom. The question was only how fast they could get out before the floor plan lenders started calling in loans. A black F-150 Platinum with an original MSRP of $84,700 hammered at just $15,800. It didn't sell. The conversion rate, the percentage of trucks actually selling, plummeted to record lows. What the dealers didn't realize was that the real power players, the banks, were already planning their own brutal escape. Confidential memos started circulating among floor plan lenders, Ally, Santander, and the others, long before the panic hit the general public. They all quietly flagged the same problem: hundreds of millions of dollars tied up in trucks that were sitting unsold for 180, 250, even 460 days. These weren't just aging units, they were financial time bombs. One memo spelled it out: dramatic collateral risk on all high-trim pickups. Immediate reduction of exposure required. The daily math was a death sentence for dealers. A $90,000 truck carried up to $18 a day in interest and insurance. Every single day it sat unsold. For a small dealer holding 20 of these, that was $10,000 a month vanishing into the lender's pocket. Banks issued internal orders to cut credit exposure and tighten audit standards. Dealers who missed a payment or let inventory age past 120 days got calls at 7 a.m. from a lender's risk officer demanding an immediate cash paydown or threatening to send in auditors. The message was cold: liquidate or lose access to the money that keeps your doors open. They had seen the auction run lists, watched $90,000 trucks hammer for $16,000, and knew the losses were already baked in. The dealers lost their shirts, but the real heartbreaking toll was being paid by families across the country. Negative equity isn't just a number, it's the silent wreckage left behind. It's the moment you realize the truck in your driveway is worth less than half of what you owe, and nobody's coming to bail you out. Repo agents are working overtime, hauling away trucks that were the pride of the block just a year ago, some with less than 20,000 miles. This is the worst repossession surge since 2008. For the families losing these trucks, the shame is deep. Neighbors whisper, kids ask why the new truck is gone, and the bank's letter arrives before the dust settles, demanding payment for the difference between what's owed and what the auction brings, a gap that's grown into a canyon of debt. Take Marcus, a plumber in Florida. His 2023 F-150 Platinum was stolen. The insurance adjuster handed him a check for $16,700, the new brutal market value, but Marcus still owed $56,000. The fine print says actual cash value, and the insurer won't cover the gap. He's left with no truck, a 5-figure debt, and no way to work. Even owners who keep making payments are trapped. They can't refinance, can't sell, and can't escape the math. It's the working class left to pick up the pieces, watching their hard-earned dollars disappear into a hole dug by someone else. The architects of this wreckage are the same ones planning their next move. Detroit's boardrooms may be quiet now, but the fingerprints of greed are everywhere. Ford, GM, Ram. Their executives spent years engineering a gold rush that left ordinary Americans holding the bag. Instead of dialing back when demand softened, they doubled down. Secret memos went out. Keep the high-margin trucks rolling. No matter what the market said, the inventory glut was no accident. It was a calculated gamble that buyers would always show up, no matter how high the price climbed. When the music stopped, Detroit shrugged. The same companies that hyped $90,000 trucks as investments are now flooding the auctions with the fallout. They're quick to blame the economy, the banks, or even the buyers themselves. But the truth is simple. They built the bubble. They pumped it full of air. And when it burst, they left the rest of us to sweep up the mess. The only thing that changed was the story they told. Suddenly, it's all about market correction and consumer preference. Anything but the truth. The price collapse isn't over. Data out of the major auction houses shows luxury pickups are still losing ground, with some forecasts pointing to another 10% drop through 2026. The ripple effect is already spreading. Banks and finance companies are tightening credit standards, especially for anyone looking to buy a luxury pickup. Loan approvals are down, required down payments are up, and some lenders have stopped writing new loans on high-trim trucks altogether. The legal fallout is just beginning, with class action lawsuits piling up against banks, automakers, and insurance companies. Each one a fight over who pays for the canyon of negative equity. For anyone thinking about buying, the next 18 months could be a minefield or a gold mine. Jump in too soon, and you could watch your new truck lose another third of its value before the first oil change. The only winners are the ones who stay informed, read the fine print, and refuse to play by the old rules. They're betting you won't pay attention, betting you'll fall for the next round of creative financing. Don't let the same companies that engineered this financial collapse take you down with them. Prove them wrong.